In the year 2000, while Sudan was embroiled in a devastating two-generation-long civil war that displaced and ravaged millions of people, a unique and remarkable project was launched. South Sudan is endowed with abundant resources, and there has always been a deep desire among the Sudanese for a time when they could own and develop their own resource heritage. The brutalities and vagaries of war rendered such desires nearly impossible. But the women of South Sudan did it anyway. This is the powerful story of a group of Sudanese women who have suffered through unimaginable trials and overcome immeasurable odds to create better lives for themselves and their families. Two civil wars have engulfed Sudan since its independence in 1956. War, famine, and disease have caused massive civilian deaths and have uprooted millions of people. Unable to attend school, learn skills, or even grow food, survival depended largely on emergency aid and handouts. Nafisa Yolo is a county coordinator for Luluworks, a business owned and operated by women.
During the war, we lived in the bush and we had no clothes, so we used leaves and animal skins. Water and food were scarce, and sometimes we went without. Families were required to feed soldiers, so if a big group came, there would be no food for the family.
Gathering wild foods to eat helped people subsist during the war-induced famines. The lulu tree was one such resource.
Lulu was important during this time. Children collected the fruit and would make oil the traditional way from the nut. So during the war, the children were well fed because of Lulu.
Raquela Marco is a chairwoman for Luluworks.
During the war, many people suffered from hunger. But the Lulu tree helped us very much because we were able to gather the fruit and make oil from the nuts. It helped our bodies and our health.
Gordon Wagner is one of the visionaries of the Lulu Livelihoods program. Together with Gordon and his colleagues, the women of South Sudan gave birth to an idea.
The southern Sudan is 1/3 the size of the total Sudan, which is the largest country in Africa. And yet in all of that space, there is 0 kilometers of tarmac road except until a few years ago. I think they got 4 or 5 now in Juba. No running water, no electricity. It gives you a little perspective on what we're dealing with. These people have been oppressed. They have been wiped out in war, by famine, by disease. And so in 2000, we decided that we were going to try and respond to the women and the communities that we've known for so many years who yearn for the time that they might be able to develop, own, and manage their own resources that they were given in the lands that they were born in.
Rebecca Aker is another chairwoman for Luluworks.
Lulu was given to us by God. It wasn't planted. It just grows and there's no need to water it. If you eat a lot of it, you become healthy. That's why everybody knows and loves Lulu.
As the civil war raged on, groups of women throughout South Sudan, with the support of the Lulu Livelihoods Program, formed Luluworks, a business they own and govern themselves. Their work is processing Lulu nuts into oil to make body butters, soaps, and cooking oil, which are then sold locally and internationally. Kristina Belknap is another visionary of the Lulu Livelihoods Program.
The program is by and for and with the women of South Sudan, so I think it's unique in that way, but I would really like to stress that point to both within and outside of South Sudan. It's a program that we are working together with the women here. And I think having a product from South Sudan has been very encouraging, and the women know that they need to produce as much as they possibly can, oil and soap, and that we will assist in finding markets for these products.
Ayan Parek was one of the first coordinators of Luluworks.
The women involved in Luluworks understand well that this is a business and that they are paid according to how much oil they produce. They understand well that Luluworks is theirs.
In the midst of a war that was violently dismantling lives, the women of Luluworks opted to reclaim their power and to repair and reconstruct their world by starting and operating their own business, utilizing a natural resource with significant meaning in their lives. It is through the process of cold pressing Lulu nuts into oil that groups of women, often from different tribes, come together to work, to learn, and to create a product which they feel connected to and proud of. Lulu is purchased from people in neighboring communities and then dried, sorted, and graded. The strenuous job of pounding the nuts into powder requires finesse, and every woman contributes her strength. The powder is then mixed with boiling water and transferred into bags. And by the time the sun has heated the steel screw press, the women are ready to take turns extracting a golden oil. Which by late afternoon is clarified and filtered to produce a pure African shea oil. The process of working together to create a top-quality product for local and international markets requires the women to collaborate, to voice their opinions, and to compromise with one another to make decisions.
Peace starts at home, and any, like everything starts at home. And so if there can be, examples in just a small group of 20 women where they can learn to get along and discuss their differences and really be able to work out any problems they might have and celebrate the successes they have, I think that's I think that is peace building. That's what it's all about. And I think it's happening with these women's groups.
Lulu has taught me. It has given me confidence. If I were not involved with Lulu, I would have been afraid to come and sit and talk with you now. Because of Lulu, we can sit together and talk and get to know each other, because I have a sense of confidence. In 1998, there was great hunger and many people died. What helped us live until today was Lulu. I've been called to a government position where I would make more money, but I said no. Let me continue with Lulu Works, because Lulu kept me alive when the hunger came. I want only to work with Lulu because it educated me and it's bettered my life, and I've learned skills, and now I want to stand in front of the women as a leader. The community here is very happy about the Lulu project because they know that they can collect Lulu nuts to sell to us, and they benefit from that. They also know there is soap and cooking oil they can buy. For me, I can send my children to school and they are well fed. I've learned many things working with Lulu.
They now have become important spokespeople in the community. Their wisdom is sought after. And the nice thing is that they can respond to those invitations without giving up Lulu. And for the most part, we see that that's happening. So we're seeing a radical transformation on the face of Southern Sudan, just from this small initiative of taking that resource and having them, the women who've lived with that resource for generations, exploit its value to their own advantage.
In times of war, and now in times of peace, the Sudanese people have been connected with their land and its resources. It is through this bond today that the women are rebuilding their lives after surviving 2 protracted wars. And in a true testament to their resilience, strength, and humanity, they have carved out an opportunity for a better, more empowered future.
I know that much of the world sees Sudan as a troubled and damaged place. But I want the world to understand that this is not completely true. Because here in South Sudan, there is something special called Lulu. And Lulu is giving poor women opportunities to improve their lives and stand proud as women of South Sudan.